Hi, this is Dr. Aarti, Associate Professor, Department of Business Administration of Avinash Lingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education for Women. I am very happy to take you through the module on purchasing in global supply chains. This is divided into 3 sessions, and all the 3 sessions would focus on the following learning objectives. Understand the importance of global purchasing, identify differences with procurement function, comprehend global purchasing trends, illustrations across global purchase options, enumerate critical success factors for purchasing in global chains. And the outcome of the entire session on purchasing in global supply chains would be to recognize purchasing function as a strategic business enabler, gain clarity among the functions of purchase, procurement and sourcing, adequate knowledge about global purchasing trends and suitability to business needs, apply practically the appropriate global purchasing decisions to ensure organizational success, and you can easily design global purchase strategies as core capabilities of the organization. So now we are going to focus on session 1 with the first 2 learning objectives. I am happy to address you all in this session with a focus on the objectives to understand how important global purchasing is, identify the differences with procurement function. Your full attention will help you to prepare for few exercises at the end of the session. Tracing back to early 1970s, purchasing was a basic function rather than playing a strategic role in the organization. We place the deliberate attention on vital core competencies. SMEs and even many big organizations don't consider purchasing as one of their core competencies. Global supply chains swirl around with purchasing as a vital function. Purchasing occurs in the crucial areas of the supply chain, that is the inbound or an upstream. The purchasing function involves the process of procuring raw materials, components, monitoring work in process products or services, and which requires a smooth integration in the production cycle for international organizations. The different types of purchasing strategies involved in the global purchasing are outsourcing and multi-sourcing, global customer relationship management, worldwide channel management, order fulfillment and delivery, global supplier selection, and global supplier networks, which is depicted in figure 1. Hence, global purchasing is integral in the global supply chain management that is connected with the buying of goods and services or information required by the multinational companies around the world. It is to be noted that 90% of global demand is not fully met by local supplies, and global supply chains will soon account for 25% of multinational firms' performance. Further, the supply chains need to develop 43% more global in the next decade so that a firm's competitive edge is sharpened in the global arena. It is imperative to locate global operations and develop need-based global supply chains which require strategic planning and control. Developing global supply chains would provide quick access to the resources the organization currently needs or potentially aim for to achieve its strategic objectives. Further, the overall supply chain and inventory costs can be reduced, which can improve the purchase process and thereby help the management to maintain better communication with the vendor as to identification of the materials in the delivery process and payment to the international logistics, and the provision of the global supply chain are major building blocks of development of international trade. The needs of the global market are widening, allowing for more purchase options, and expect sustainable efforts from the organization to strategically utilize the opportunities. For example, Walmart is a great example of global supply chain development aiming greater efficiency and even creating supply chains which has helped increasing purchasing power of the bottom of the pyramid customers. Walmart has achieved a competitive edge by administering the coordination of the raw materials to end customer global supply chain to maximize efficiencies and total cost, that is, to provide greater total value than many other companies, which is a competitive advantage when compared to other firms. They have an efficient network of global supply chains which offer low-cost versions of products wanted by the bottom of the pyramid customers. Strategically, within the integrated global supply chain of multinational corporations, it is predicted that purchasing as a function will become 13% more globalized as proved in the 5 years period between 2013 and 18, and 29% more globalized in the next 10 years by 2023. The important objective of global supply chain management is to integrate the marketplace, distribution network, procurement activity, manufacturing, processing, assembly process, etc. in such a way that customers experience greater satisfaction at lower cost. Supply chain management focuses heavily on operations management, logistics, procurement, demand and supply planning, transportation process, warehousing, order fulfillment. So now we will see the next aspect of our learning objective of differentiation among the terminologies of purchasing, procurement and sourcing. Procurement is a managerial function. Procurement involves acquiring of products and services, especially for the undertaking business operations. It includes a number of activities right from identifying the need of goods and services to its acquisition to complete the production process. To know the difference in these terminologies, we need to focus on the basic activities in each function. Procurement involves activities like identify appropriate suppliers, decide payment conditions, negotiating prices, buying goods, compliance of regulations, analysis and sourcing, source of finance, purchase order processing, enumerate quality standards, inventory management, disposal of waste products, raising invoice for payment. In the overall supply chain process, procurement terminates once the organization has possessed the goods. To make a profit, the cost of procuring goods must be at most lesser cost than the selling price of the products, less than the cost which are connected with processing and selling them. Thus, procurement is a broader term and purchasing is just a subcomponent. The procurement process includes three major functions categorized as purchase order processing, receipt confirmation, and invoice verification in simple terms. The objective of efficient procurement process is to reduce the operating cost. One of the components that can reduce operating cost is decrease in purchase cost. Retailers rely on specific suppliers to faster delivery to the customer expectations so that the cost of holding costly inventories in stores can be avoided. For example, electronic stores require fast delivery of consumer durables to reduce high inventory cost. The global supply chain includes players performing in the process of logistics, purchasing, operations, and market channels. Procurement includes both direct and indirect cost. Direct costs are those required to produce or deliver the service that is expected by the customers. Indirect costs are associated with costs involved in day-to-day activities of the business, such as office equipment, stationeries, and so on. Coming to purchasing, it is a sub-function of procurement. Purchasing simply is buying and selling of goods and services. Purchasing is a transaction-oriented function of procurement. Now let's understand the terminology sourcing. Sourcing refers to the act of finding a source to obtain the goods and services. Sourcing is considered to be a sub-function of procurement, wherein procurement is related to acquiring goods and services, whereas sourcing aims at identifying a competitive supplier for the goods. As the profits for business can be assured through the best range of suppliers, sourcing is considered to be the first important step taken by the business before the core activity of selling. The supply chain starts with procurement and stops when the goods are brought to the premises for the production of goods or services. If a company is in making office furniture, procurement is sourcing the raw materials needed to design the furniture. The supply chain is the entire process involved in sourcing, producing and delivering the cabins, notice boards, seating, filing cabinets or other office furniture given in the catalog to satisfy the customers. This session has given insights on the importance of global purchasing and basic understanding of terminologies like procurement, purchase and sourcing. Thus, we try to achieve the outcome of gaining clarity to enhance our knowledge to proceed with further topics.